Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Jeff. I'm gonna share with you some things that sold, and then at the end we'll get a few things that I purchased and picked up yesterday and today. So the first item that sold, or that I'm showing you, I primarily started eBay selling comic books. Always been a collector, but I quit years and years ago, and then I got back in 2011, and when DC relaunched, and then I just decided to start collecting again, and then I started buying books that I noticed started appreciating in value, and so I started selling, and I switched over a few years before COVID. It's a good thing that I did, but that's for another topic. So first thing that sold is comic book, $40. It's the first appearance of this character. Why I'm showing you this is I sell a lot of manga. A lot of people dismiss it, but some of those mangas sell for quite a bit, as you'll see in time. So and I do have a manga actually. The next item, and funny thing about this book is this was actually free for free comic book day, which they do once a year, and it's the first appearance of this character. I think they're making a movie out of it, and that's what drives one of the things of comic books. The next thing that I sold, this is a Norakuru alarm clock. It's vintage and it is super cool. Come on now. Funny thing about this is I don't know if a parent would be buying this to torture their kids, or because somebody actually wants to wake up to that. Now, I bought this at a thrift store, and it's missing the clip. And I didn't know if it worked, so I just took a complete gamble on it. I don't even know this character. I do know a lot of anime and a lot of characters in the Sanrio universe. I sell a lot of that stuff, Hello Kitty. A lot of collectors love that stuff. I just looked at it, I comped it. It did look like it had some value. Kodansha, Kodansha. It's a big Asian maker of things that people collect. I don't know. I think they also have a graphic novel or a comic book line. I'm pretty sure. But this sold for $82.77. Yeah, and actually I just sold another alarm clock the other day, but I've already packaged that up. That's going to be another thing I'm going to struggle with, because I like to package my orders, struggle with when making YouTube videos. I like to package my orders pretty quick, so holding them back to share with you guys is going to be a bit of a learning curve. This next item, it's a manga. It's Final Fantasy. There's 2 volumes, and it's actually, it's not in English. I don't even know what language it's in. And I believe it sold for $35. Sorry, I should have this already up. But yeah, this sold for $35.48. Final Fantasy video game franchise. One of the things I like to do is I like to buy franchises. There's always going to be a Final Fantasy fan. I do like to buy lots of manga, and sometimes you can get some really cheap manga, if it's all foreign, because a lot of people think, oh, where are you going to find the right buyer for that? And I just throw it up online and I let it sit, and then eventually the right buyer comes. All right, the next item that I sold is a popcorn tin. The recent Doctor Strange popcorn tin. Pretty clean, pretty cool. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. You would be surprised what some popcorn tins go for. This sold for $22. Not a crazy amount, but you know, when you're buying it cheap. And this is actually an international order. It shipped to Canada, so Canadian shipping quite expensive. The guy paid, like, after taxes and shipping, $42 to get this popcorn tin. A few months back, I sold the Top Gun popcorn. It wasn't tin; it was plastic. It was a tub, and it was in the shape of like the jet fighter's mask and the helmet. And that one sold for like $35. Like, there's always going to be a Top Gun collector. I did sell a couple other comics, low dollar comics. I've already packaged those up. I sold this Halloween mask for $25. The buyer hasn't paid yet, but he just bought it maybe an hour or so ago, and he has like 100 feedback, so I'm guessing he's gonna buy it. But oh man, this is so creepy. Do I put it on? I'll put it on. Looks like something from Batman. One of the villains. This is so bad. Anyhow, rubies. Rubies, R-U-B-I-E. Vintage costume masks, they can go for decent money. Ruby's Costume Company, this one was in 2008. Yeah. And then the other thing that I just sold, I literally have had this on my desk to list for months. And I bought it at a garage sale. It's this Blade action figure. But it has all these pieces in it. And it's just like, man, it's just like I have to go through and kind of verify and make sure everything is there. And then I finally did, and I literally just listed it today. And it sold for $107. I listed it higher because brand new they go for like $200. I listed it for like $137, and then somebody wanted to buy it. Now the way I listed this one was, I'm only shipping them this, and I stayed in the listing that you're only going to get the action figure, because I don't think this box is even complete, and adding this would would almost double the shipping and handling. So I just charged $5.97 to ship this. Try to save the customer money, especially if they're just going to display it or whatnot. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I would have gotten more if I shipped it with that. And somebody did message me and they did want to buy it with this, but he kind of stopped responding at a certain point because I think he determined that one of the plastic pieces is missing. And so I did him a courtesy. I said, hey, I have another offer coming in, now or never if you do want to buy it. So yeah, so 107 plus shipping on this, and I do believe it's complete. I did check this. I did watch a YouTube video of like somebody reviewing it. It's pretty super cool. It has like 4 little different sunglasses. It can go on the head. It's got 2 different heads. It's got 12 different interchangeable hands, guns. It's pretty cool. I mean, I'm a collector, but I don't keep anything. Like, everything I have is for sale. I know a lot of people, they get attached to certain items, but for me, everything has a price. Like, that's just the way I am, because I know I'm always buying stuff, and I can enjoy something for a short amount of time, but then I'll let it go. I just don't get attached to things. Okay, yesterday, so that's it for everything that's sold that I'm going to show you right now. I want to talk to you about things that I picked up. I picked up 3 things at the thrift store today, and yesterday I answered this ad on Marketplace. Oh, I did sell one other thing. And I sell on a number of different platforms. I sell on eBay. I sell on, so there are two stores on eBay. I have a store, my wife has a store. I sell comics that I can't sell on eBay on Hip Comics. And so things you can't sell on eBay are things that have nudity, things that are like mature, and yeah. So eBay made that change, I believe like a year and a half ago, which I don't really agree with, but I don't agree with a lot of things that eBay does. I sell on like locally as well, Craigslist and Facebook. I sell on Carrot, which is an app, another local. And I'm just starting an IG page where I do like art. I do like to collect art pieces, and I kind of want to get into that. So that's like something else that I'm working on. So yeah, I sell on a number of different platforms. And so one other thing that I sold local was it was a poster tube. I bought a lot of anime posters 6-8 months ago, and the girl was kind enough to bring it to me in a plastic tube that it extends as a cap, it has a shoulder thing. It's quite nice. I sold it for $10. Like every piece, use every piece of the cow, right? Like everything that I buy, there's different ways to look at it. Like had I purchased this Blade action figure and it would have been incomplete, what I would have done was pieced it out. Like I would have sold like the Force, like there's all these little pieces, there's guns, there's weapons, there's knives, and people lose those things, right? I mean, it's probably worth more had I done that, but it is complete. So I would rather it go to a collector who's going to display it and enjoy it. But definitely, like you buy a board game at a garage sale and it doesn't have, and it's missing pieces. Part it out. People will pay if they just want something. Like I have a Barbie, I think it's a sailboat, some sort of aquatic thing. And it's old. It's in the original box, but it's missing pieces. So it's on my death pile right now. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I do need to get to it because with the Barbie movie coming up, could cause some more interest in that. So I need to, get on that and piece it out, because people who are missing pieces, they will just pay for those pieces. Okay, so what I bought. Let's see here. So I answered this ad on Facebook Marketplace. And basically they were giving away all these books. So I went, and they're all German, and I don't speak any German. But it looked like a pretty large selection of books, and I didn't know how much of them they were giving away. So anyhow, I go there, and this is a funny story. I go there and expecting a German family to open the door, and they were Chinese. So that threw me for a loop. And so they take me down into their basement, the mother, the father, and for some reason the teenage daughter, they're all going with me. And I walk into this room and they're like, you can take as many as you want. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, I'm actually literally on the way to, like, my wife and I, we're going to our kid's house to celebrate my wife's birthday. And I'm just like, well, I only have a car, but I'll take as many as I can. So I'm going through, and I'm going to show you a couple of them. I have no idea if they have any value. So they were free. So it's only my time. And I have to believe I'm going to find some really cool stuff in there. And I mean, there is cool stuff. Oh, and that's the other thing is I'm like looking through, I'm trying to determine which books have value, which books don't, like, but I don't speak German. So I'm just like looking at the pictures and looking at, you know, what I think is the age, but it's like stuff like this. Like, to me, I love like old stuff, like, and this is from 1921. Martin Luther, oops. And then just before I'm like here, like, it's just, I don't know, like, it's just cool stuff. And then right as I was getting ready to start making this video, I noticed in the back, there's like some other stuff that's inside it. Like, I want to show you something else. I don't know, I love stuff like this. So like, it like does that. Like, that is so cool. I'm trying to, oh my goodness, just that little bit, paper started to tear, it's so old. Okay, anyhow, I was gonna show you, yeah, I don't know what this stuff is. Like, this was inside it. These are the same. There's this, and then there's two of these, whatever these, oh yeah, these are different. But I'll have to look these up to find out what they are. But I mean, who knows? Like, there could be some really cool, valuable stuff in this lot. I haven't looked this up. There was a very few English things. Raphael cartoons. I did look that book up, that Martin Luther book up, and it looks like there was one for 22 US in Germany. But you got to compare conditions and whatnot. But like, this is like cool. And then this is from 1950, published for the Victoria and Albert Museum by His Majesty's Stationery Office. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. And so, okay, things I picked up today. I bought this at a thrift store. This is an electronic table tennis scorer by Sportcraft. Here we go. It looks like, I couldn't find this exact same one. It looks like they go anywhere from $50 to $100. I don't talk about every single price that I mean, I get my stuff cheap. Like, this is not the channel where I'm like, oh, I paid $2 for this and I sold it for $300. Like, anybody who resells, you know, you're getting your stuff fairly inexpensive. You know, you're taking on risk. You're taking on inventory. You're taking on having to hold on to this stuff. And, you know, I make mistakes. Sometimes I buy things that, you know, I probably shouldn't. I do take a lot of risks when I buy things. Like, I know some people, some resellers, they say, like, you should know everything about what you're buying when you go out. I totally disagree with that. I buy things that I like. I buy things that I think are cool. And I trust my instincts. And I trust that if I think something is cool, someone else is going to think it's cool. And if I'm wrong, well, my risk is low. But I sell a lot of things, so I'm not that worried about it. I bought this picture. It's a painting. This is an original painting. It's by somebody named Craig Yeats. I mean, I will say what I paid for this because that's part of why I picked it up. I paid $3 for this thing. Now, the time and the imagination and the creativity that went into this, it is worth more than $3. Like, I don't care. And I like it. So if I want to hang it on my wall for a bit and enjoy it, then that's $3 well spent. And then the last thing that I picked up, because I didn't really go out thrifting. I just kind of went out because I had to run some errands. And the thrift store was there, so I just kind of popped in. I bought a shelf that I might use myself. I might use this for my own, maybe even for my basement. It's pretty big. I mean, it's probably like 4 feet tall. Again, I paid $3 for this, and it's in great shape. Like, it's literally almost brand new. So I'll probably list it locally for like $20, $25. I have to think that someone might come along and, you know, pay me that locally. And even if I don't sell it, I know that my wife actually already wants it, so I might not be able to sell it. But other than that, I think that's going to do it for my first haul / what I sold video. And I kind of think this is how my formats are going to be, because I do buy stuff like almost every day, and I do sell stuff almost every day. So I think shorter videos, which allow me to get my stuff packaged and get my stuff shipped out, is probably the best way. But we'll see how it goes. Like, I don't even know how much time I'm gonna have to devote to the channel. Like, this is something that I've been thinking about for a while. I just kind of want to dip my toe in the YouTube verse. I think one of the things that prompted me to do this was I was watching a couple of they're a husband and wife pickers, and I mean, he puts out really nice videos. Like, I mean, you can tell he spends some time editing these videos, and he made the comment that he makes more money, they make more money from their YouTube channel than they do reselling. And I was just like, wow, that's nuts. And I was just like, you know, I'm not unfamiliar to building an audience. I've built an audience in a different capacity before. There are some major advantages to, you know, putting yourself out there in this sort of capacity. You know, you do make some really interesting contacts. I recently, my dog passed away in January, and I talked to him a lot. Like, I worked from home for you know, like I said, 8+ years, and with him not being here, I think this is a good way for me to kind of, like, you know, I'm always talking to myself, so this is kind of like a good way for me to kind of get some things out. So I think it could be therapeutic for me. Plus, it'll save my wife from hearing all my eBay stories, of which I do have one that I think I'm going to make another video right after this about something that happened, about how somebody opened an item not as described case, and I won. Stay tuned for that one. And I have a lot of I have a lot of things like that, because like I said, I do call into eBay quite a bit, and I want to understand from their perspective what they expect from us, and I kind of want to just call in, and yeah, that's a whole nother story. So yeah, and more importantly too, another reason why I want to start this channel too is anybody who tells you that they're not on YouTube to see if they can capitalize on the monetization aspect to it, they're not totally being honest with you. I mean, I've been selling on eBay for 11 years. And you got to keep in mind, You feel like you're a business owner. You feel like you work for yourself. But at the end of the day, you are a worker for eBay. And I think over the last year and a half, I've really kind of pushed to diversify where I sell things based on some changes. And, kind of like, I can't necessarily complain about how I've been treated by eBay. Like, they've kind of had my back in a lot of things. But because I've just started watching other resellers' videos over the last couple weeks, last couple months, I have heard some horror stories about people like getting their accounts shut down, suspended, and I don't know if we're just not getting that whole picture from that particular YouTube channel. Not looking at anyone in particular, but yeah, it just blows my mind that things like that happen. There's Veros, there's copyright infringements, and there's other selling things. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that can get you in trouble. And I've been kind of oblivious to some of that, even though I've been selling for so long. Like, I literally think I just got my first Vero on my account, like, I think it was last year. And I can't even remember what it was, but I will be talking about Veros. I'm actually disputing one right now, but I don't really want to talk about that until I have more information. I'm probably going to lose it, but it's kind of BS. But as a lot of them are. So anyhow, lots to talk about, lots I want to delve into, and the landscape of reselling is constantly changing, so I don't feel like we're ever not going to have anything to talk about. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. I do tend to go off on tangents, and I apologize for that, but that's just the way I am. So have a good rest of your evening.